Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So firstly, I just wanted to start off by saying sorry for not getting a video out for the last few weeks. I have been working hard in the background for a few updates to the community. And the first and most important one is that we are now also trading Euro USD. Now I know a lot of you guys love to trade EU. Personally, I did also love to trade EU back in the day, and then I made the switch across to AU. But I have now also added in EU for times when AU is not giving us the best price action to trade, to allow us to have another pair to look at. So I have done some thorough backtesting to make sure that we understand the correct pip values to use. So if you aren't new to this channel, you'll know that we use 22 pips on AU for the 15 minute. We also have specific requirements for the 4 hour and for the daily. Now I've done a lot of backtesting to arrive at what those figures should be for EU as well. So there are outlooks completed every day so the AU is done for Asia and London, and EU is just done for London at the moment because Euro doesn't move too much during the Asian session. So that's the first and most important update. The second update that I've also done is come up with a new higher probability model. So essentially we're just being a little bit more selective in the 15-minute POIs that we're choosing. They have to just fit a couple more criteria. Now, a mistake that I've made, and I'm taking full ownership of this, is that I've allowed us to enter from too many POIs to allow us to increase our trade frequency, which has resulted in a lower strike rate. It is still profitable overall. It just means that we're taking a lot of unnecessary losses. So I've now come up with a way to filter through those unnecessary losses and to just focus on more high probability setups. So the high probability model is going to be for those people who are okay with trading less, but having a higher strike rate in return. Now, another interesting introduction I've also made is I personally am moving up a time frame for my entries. So rather than looking at the 1 minute for entries, I'm now looking at the 5 minute for entries. So again, everything's going to be based off those 15-minute POIs. And as just stated, we are going to be a little bit more selective in which POIs we're choosing to enter from and where we're targeting as well. And rather than jumping down to the 1 minute, I am going to be using the 5 minute for my entry model. Now there's a few reasons behind this, but essentially I wanted to start trading in a way which was going to allow me to be a bit more scalable. So of course I have the aim of trading a higher 6-figure and eventually have a 7-figure account to trade as well. And with that comes its own sort of difficulties. And trading 7 figures on the 1 minute, whilst it is possible, and hats off to those people that are doing it, because I know there are a few people that are actually doing this that I personally know. So hats off to you guys. But I personally don't want to be risking 1% on the 1 minute, getting swept, then seeing price run to my target. So I'm just going to allow myself a little bit more of a buffer, increase my stop loss. So with the testing that I've done, which I am going to show you on the computer in just a moment, the average sort of stop loss size is now going to be about 5.6 to 5.8 pips, whereas currently it's about 2.5. So it is about double the stop loss. So yes, that means less R. However, I am actually risking 1% per trade now rather than 0.5%, which then counteracts that less R that we're receiving. So I am actually going to show you my FX book on my personal account, which I've been trading. And so make sure you stick around to the end to see that. I'll show you how much I'm up this month using 1% risk rather than 0.5% risk, as well as give you an update on the FTMOs and how that's all going as well. Now, another big reason as to why I'm switching to the 5 minute instead of the 1 minute is in the past few months, we've had a lot of situations where our analysis is 100% correct. We have our 1 minute shock, we've had our liquidation model, but price is coming all the way to our entry and stopping by 0.1 or 0.2 pips, not tagging us and then running straight to target. There have been a few trades like that which would have passed me the challenge, which I obviously did not take because I was not tagged in. And the other thing again is getting swept, then seeing the entry run exactly as we had anticipated. And currently, or previously, what I was doing is that I was risking 0.5% and allowing myself 3 opportunities at those 15-minute POIs to get involved. Therefore, I was risking 1.5% per trade idea. And now what I'm going to be doing is just increasing that stop loss size and risking a full percent. So essentially, I'm actually also decreasing the risk because I'm now only risking 1% per trade idea. I'm also minimizing the chances of just getting swept by a very small amount, whether it's 0.1 to 0.3 pips, and then the trade running as per the actual outlook. And I'm also decreasing the chance of not being tagged in. So they're the reasons as to why I'm going to be switching from the 1 minute to the 5 minute. And I'm going to show you a set of statistics in a moment to actually show you how well this new model is playing out. So as mentioned, we are now also trading EU, and I'm looking to introduce a third pair as well, potentially one that has a little bit more volatility during Asia, just because that aligns with the Australian time zone a little bit better. So I'm currently looking at AUD JPY, Euro JPY, as well as AUD CAD, which is the Canadian dollar. Now, if any of you guys watching this now have had any experience with any of those pairs, please let me know below, or if there's one in particular you'd like me to start analyzing, also let me know out of those three, because I'm looking to implement one more. Essentially, that'll give me 2 pairs to trade during Asia, which will be AUD USD, as well as one of those 3 pairs that I just mentioned, and then 2 pairs to trade during London, which will be AU and EU. Whichever one sort of sets up first and sets up better as per the new high probability model, I'll strike on that one. And then if I'm risk off, or if the other setup also sets up and I'm still within my drawdown for the day, then I can also take that second setup as well. So if you do have any experience with EJ, AUJ, or EJ, please let me know. I'd love to hear your comments about them. Again, I am going to do all the recommended or required backtesting to make sure I know how the pair moves, what those pip values need to be, and so that we can continue to execute it in a mechanical method. So MWG is not changing. All we're doing is we're increasing the number of pairs we're looking at, just to allow us to, rather than force a trade on AU when it's not in the best of positions, let's look at another pair to see if it's more well suited for our model, and then we can take that pair instead. And the other thing is you can still be entering on the 1 minute. I personally will be moving up to the 5 minute, just to decrease all the stress of taking multiple consecutive losses before the win, and also the stress of not being tagged in to the trade with spreads and everything else like that as well. So let me know what you think about these new changes that we're going to be implementing into MWG. And now let's jump onto the computer and show you my findings so far. So having a look here, we can go through all the different things that I've been testing. So here I have a sample of 51 trades. This last one was actually a live trade that I took on both my personal and the FTMO challenge, which I'll show you in just a moment. And within here, I'm testing a lot of different things. So I was looking at, firstly, the session that the trade appeared in, what 4-hour structure was at the time, what 15-minute structure was at the time, whether we had our 15-minute range set, whether we were in premium or discount of the 15-minute, what 15-minute order flow was at the time, whether it was a pullback or a continuation trade, whether there was a 5M chock required. So there's going to be certain rules as to where we're going to look for a 5-minute chock. And if there was one required, if it helped, then if I've refined the entry on the 5-minute, or if I've just left it on the 15-minute, the R achieved, the outcome, the stop loss size, how many pips above or below the POI I've placed my stop loss, and if that stop loss was swept, as to how many pips it was swept by, and then whether the entry was on the flip or the extreme. So if we have a look at some of the statistics, again, this is on Euro USD, not AUD USD. I'm doing a separate 50 for AU. There's 14 trades that we could have capitalized on during Asia, which has a total sum of 33R achieved. And again, that's 33% because I am going to be risking 1% per trade, and I have been risking 1% per trade for the last few weeks. And then again, you can see here the wins to losses. You can see the average stop loss size was about 4.9 pips. And for London, there was 14 trades available. This is over the span of just under 2 months. And there was a sum of 40% achieved in those 2 months. Again, you can see the stop loss size, almost the same at 4.8 pips. And this one here, there was only once which it was swept. And you can see again whether I've entered on the flip or the extreme in situations where a 5-minute chock was required. Then in New York, that's the best session for this pair. There was 23 trades available, and for a total sum of 39%. So it's actually less than the 40% for London, which is good to know because I'll be mostly trading London. And again, you can see the average stop loss size. It is a little bit larger, potentially due to high volatility around news events that get released in New York. So again, it's not too large at all. It's an average of 5.4 pips for this session. So in total, if we look at all the trades, the average stop loss size is 5.1. And the average R, including losses, is 2.2. However, if we just look at the winners, so again, there was 19 losses and 32 wins. I'll calculate that strike rate in just a second. So if we just look at the winners, the average size of the winning trades was 4.1%. So let's just quickly see what that strike rate is. So there was 32 out of 51. 32 divided by 51. So it's 62.74% strike rate, which is really, really good considering the minimum R we're taking in this model is 3R. And the average stop loss size, as mentioned, was still pretty small at about 5 pips, 5.1 pips or so. So all of this is available to the community, and we can go through. I'll quickly just show you a couple. I'm obviously not going to be sharing the whole strategy here, but within each one of these, it's fully annotated as to exactly what we needed to see, where we needed to see it, where we'd need to TP, where we'd refine, and where we wouldn't refine. So each one of these has those screenshots for you to be able to see. And it also follows the same piece of price action, so you can see how to adjust after that first sort of move was achieved, whether we then look for the counter trend move or whether we continue with the pullback if we had, for example, already broken bearish and we're taking that pullback into premium. So all of this is available for the community. This is how I'm going to be moving to trade now, which is just going to be a little bit less stressful for me. Entering on the 5 minute, I'm going to be risking, like I said, just 1% instead of the 0.5, as there's less chance of me being swept by half a pip or 0.1 pips or anything like that and having to re-enter. So I'm going to be risking 1% per trade ID and 1% per 15-minute POI. So if there's a couple, I'll put 1% on one 15-minute POI and then 1% on a lower or a higher 15-minute POI if there was 2 places to be entering from. So if this seems like something that you'd be interested in, if you're sick of getting swept on the 1 minute or not being tagged, let me know below, and we can book in a free consultation where I can show you a little bit more, just to see if it's going to be suited towards how you wish to trade, and then we can go from there. So this is something I'm really, really excited about. I'm excited to have more than just AU to look at. I was a little bit, I was trying to just be a bit more strategic and only look at one pair. But what that led to was sometimes not forcing trades, but just taking trades which weren't of the highest probability, as there was only one pair I was looking at. So expanding my horizons now and looking at 2 and then potentially 3 will allow me to pick which pair has the best positioning and then trade that pair. So now let's jump on to my FX book and I'll quickly just show you how the personal is running as well. So this here is my personal Fusion account, and you can see it's a real account and I use Australian dollars. Again, it's my portfolio here and you can see that here as well. And since the 9th of May, which is when I've moved across to risking 1%, I have now accomplished 9.18% return in about 20 days, or in exactly 20 days, which is really good. With the FTMO, obviously that would be very, very close to passing the 10% within the month. And so that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward with the current challenge. So this is actually my 4th repeat. All 4 have ended in profit, ranging from 3 to 6%, and none had actually achieved that 10%. Because I was taking those losses, being swept, or because I wasn't getting tagged into those trades that would have accomplished the challenge. That's why I've made those minor tweaks, just to allow myself a high probability of completing the challenge, getting funded, and then growing those accounts as well. So I've only taken 1 trade on this new one, which was on the 26th of May, 100% win rate. But you can see here, so this equated to just, so this was 3.67% up after commissions, of course, because there was $100 worth of commissions there. So this challenge here is going to be running to the 24th of June, and I'll keep you guys posted as to how this one's running as well. I am also going to be releasing a new video soon about another prop firm which has reached out to me, and we're going to be doing some work together. There are a couple of them, but this one has some really cool new tweaks and really cool new options, which I've not yet seen on any other prop firm. And they are also going to be giving me a challenge giveaway to give to you guys. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you turn your notifications on so that you don't miss out on those notifications when I do give away that challenge. But yeah, let me know how your thoughts on this video. If you're also currently moving up from the 1 minute to the 5 minute, or if you're interested in knowing how to execute a mechanical plan on the 5 or 15 minute, and we can definitely help you out there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I look forward to speaking to you all soon, and have a great rest of the week.